Hello. Oh, that was the wrong button. That's the right button. How's it going today? Hope you're doing well. Trying new camera angles and stuff, seeing how things work. Hello. I hope that you're all having a cozy time. Cause yeah, someone in chat mentioned that it was fucking cold today. Like, yeah, it's fucking cold today. Halfling Rogue had to go back to work, but donated $10 before stream started. Thank you so much. I can't hang out tonight because of work. I hope you and everyone in chat has a chill, fun, and safe weekend. Yes, the goal is to have a fun and safe weekend for sure. So yeah, hi Mersh, Halfling Rogue, Decoy Duck, hello, Jade of Awesome, Nouvenol, Raccoon Pope. Yes, Spider, and Numpty Unbound. What's up, Gayfesh? Hey. And then, of course, in the YouTube chat, we've got Paul Hack, K. Fleischman Vids, Venusium Bleve. I'm exhausted from work today, 9 hours in a crowded supermarket, and customers were dicks. I'm so glad I don't work retail anymore. So Tuesday night, I called out off stream because I was tired, very, very tired, and I felt like garbage. But earlier in the day, I was forcing myself to do things, and I went to the grocery store, and there were so fucking many people. Like, it was I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it's a Tuesday, and I always go during the day, like before people are like home from work. But everybody and their fucking mom needed the entire week before Christmas off work, so a whole bunch of people were at the grocery store. I went to one store, and I was like, oh, there are too many people here, and it's not enough room. And then I had to like go to a totally different store that I just know happens to have like more space. And I was like, okay, this is working better. But yeah, it was annoying. Christmas week, everybody's doing their last minute shopping and stuff. I am gonna be like, my partner asked me if I wanted to hang out on Christmas. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I don't really have any money for a gift, and I like doing things, and I also haven't baked in a while. I got a stand mixer at the thrift store for, like, a third of the cost of what it would have been new, and it had all the attachments still. So I was thinking, like, maybe I'll make a cheesecake. So maybe on, like, Friday, I'm gonna have to, like, weather the store so that I can get some cream cheese. Potentially. We'll see how it goes. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that. Drivers have been crazy on the highway too around here. Lots of people visiting and driving aggressively. I'm just like, I don't want to go fucking anywhere. What color is the mixer? I think it's just like black and silver. It has like a handle on top. It's like a KitchenAid maybe. I can't remember what brand it is, but I'm excited because I've used a stand mixer before, but I've never used my stand mixer before. So that's going to be a whole thing. Yesterday was the solstice. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was what I was about to say, but the funnier joke is that tomorrow is Christmas Adam because it comes before Eve, and it's a lot less interesting. Yes, but today is the overlooked middle child day. Ugh. Oh my god. So yeah, I am not really much of a Christmas person, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know if you know that about me. I am not a huge... because I don't really like... I'm just not a big fan of sort of the compulsory feeling Christmas time, you know? we have some stickers for oh, I can't like show an Amazon thing because it has personal info on it, but you can get like stickers to make your stand mixer look like a shark. So that's cool. What's up, Hellhound? How are we doing? Yeah, so I am going to be chilling by myself over the weekend for the most part, like over Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm going to hang out with my person. I am not streaming on Sunday. I feel like that goes without saying. Not streaming on Sunday. Also not going to be streaming on New Year's Day. It's just... there's no reason to do that. You all are going to be busy. I don't want to make you feel like you need to be here. I enjoy getting things. I do not enjoy the rest of Christmas. And this year in particular, fuck the music. I don't enjoy Christmas music, and I don't really understand why people do enjoy it. I like go to the store and it's fucking November and you're playing Christmas music. I'm salty. I am salty about that. I don't appreciate it. But I agree. Like, getting things is nice, but all of the compulsory being around family shit is kind of obnoxious. And when you're trans, it's just like even more difficult. I work in the store. Yeah. All the retail that I worked was gas stations where they were like, they quote, wouldn't let us have a radio. But I was always grateful for that because I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with Christmas. That was like my entire justification was like, it's worth it to me not to have music all year, to not have music at Christmas. And also I just don't really love listening to music most of the time. I feel like we've talked about this on stream before. I am a weird, particular stickler person about my music. I like the stations that mix in one Christmas song or so per set into their regular rotations. Yeah, that's like a balanced amount. I have to get some water. I didn't realize how thirsty I was, so I'm gonna grab some water. You should have a drink too. At least one hydrating drink in your immediate vicinity. Hail hydrate. Be good. Okay, now we're back, ready for the appropriate amount of hydration. Is bong water hydration? I mean, I think technically it would be hydration if you hate yourself enough. Nuvenal. Goodness gracious. Our department has a speaker, so I hear both the store's pop Christmas music and the department's classic Christmas music at the same time. You have like conflicting music even within the store? That sounds like a fucking nightmare. Do not drink the bong water. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it just doesn't seem like a wise choice. But do you, baby. Like, do it. Hey, it's Christy. How are we doing tonight? So, yeah, to be totally clear, like, the stream is called Snow Day because, you know, the main thing connecting all of us in the US right now is this crazy cold front. I think that we're all affected by it to some point or are about to be affected by it. Like, ooh, let's look at a map. Ooh, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map. Is that from Dora the Explorer? What the fuck is wrong with me? Excuse me. Oh my god, excuse me. I belched. So, yeah, like, it's, you know, it's a cold time and it's about to be Christmas. It's about to be Christmas. Hold on. It's about to be Christmas. I forgot something important and it's going to take me a quick second to find it. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it's gonna be, ow, my toe. This is the last stream before Christmas because I'm not streaming on Christmas. So tonight's the last stream before Christmas, and I don't feel like talking about any fucking news because it's a snow day and stuff. So on account of the fact that we're not gonna do anything serious today, that means that I can look like an idiot if I want to. And this hat is dirty. Because it's like hand wash only, and I haven't gotten around to hand washing it, so I gotta fucking pick all of this shit off of it. Give me a second. It's got cat hair all over it. Good grief. How could I possibly do such a thing? Do you all have any plans for Christmas? Like I already said, I'm gonna just chill with my partner that day and maybe make a cheesecake this weekend. Cheesecake, that's what I was winding up to with the talking about my stand mixer. I might make a cheesecake because my partner really likes cheesecake and I don't mind it. So here we go. Okay. Let's get my hair in there. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Hello. Hey, Baphomet. How's it going? Oh, yeah, after all, there's only one more stream till Christmas. But it's this stream. Freezing rain today in Virginia. Supposed to just turn to rain tomorrow and clear up later. It is indeed cold. I'm not used to 24 degrees. Really? It's only 20. It's 24 degrees there? Right. Oh, I'm not an elf. I don't like elf lux. Just, I've had people like ask me if I'm doing an elf voice before just because of like, that's what the trans voice, I guess, translates to when you're wearing a fucking hat. But certainly Christmas Lux. Lux Santa. We can go with Lux Santa. That's what I changed to my Twitter name to last year. Yes, you're gonna be with the family all day on Christmas. Yeah, when I put it on Twitter, I did this. Anyway, I was about to talk about the cold front, but yeah, so it's a snow day today. It's a cold front. You're fine, Christy. I was just like, oh, I forgot. Like that, you just reminded me of something that happened like 7 years ago. Just moved from Oregon to Central California. It didn't dip below 29 degrees. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. No family to hang out with. They're all estranged. Yeah. I did have someone check up on me and see if I was going to be alone on Christmas, but I will not be alone on Christmas. I just want to see like a video. What is this? Polar vortex map? I want to see like a moving thing. Okay, this is kind of what I was going for. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is more or less what I was going for. Here we go. Shut up, please. Thank you. So this is what's kind of happening. Is it's just going woo across the entire U.S. Just let's go. And then it swirls up and around, and then it's going to kind of go back up, I think. But yeah, like, so the entire fucking Midwest is like, this white part is the worst part of it, I think, the coldest part. So just right through my neck of the woods, it's fucking, hold on, how many degrees is it? Approximately. It's below 0 right now. Like, it's below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which is fucking really cold. Like, what is that? Hold on. Get out of here. Like, I just want, what is 0 degrees F in C? Minus 17.7 repeating in Celsius. It is super cold in the PNW. Yeah, I am not surprised by that. It's 25 right now and freezing rain in Oregon. It's 40 where I am right now. Yeah, where I am right now, it's like -5 degrees. It's 6 o'clock in the PM. And it's -5 degrees. And that's not even, I don't think that's even the fucking, the wind chill. Like, let me check what the wind chill is right now. Wind chill warning. Feels like -27. Like, it's currently -5 Fahrenheit, what is -5? -5 Fahrenheit in C. -5 degrees Fahrenheit is -20.5 degrees Celsius. So right now, it's -20 degrees Celsius where I live. Not a great time. Just lit up a peppermint cocoa scented candle. Cozy. Oh my god, true. Peppo comfy. I have a cinnamon candle going right now. I think that's what it is. It's not a very strong candle. I don't know how you do that. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. -5 degrees, nope. That's how I feel, Jade of Awesome. I have not left my apartment in days. Like, what day? Yeah, no, it was like Tuesday. It was Tuesday that I went to the grocery store to like get all of my groceries preparing for the cold front, and I have not really gone outside since then. Partly because I was super duper tired. By the way, I would not recommend sleeping on an air mattress for any longer than one night, because I slept on an air mattress for like over a week, and I was basically just non-functional the last couple days. And so last night I slept on the bean. I slept on the beanbag chair because it's full of memory foam. Like, it's like made out of ripped up memory foam mattresses on the inside. So that's where I slept last night, working on the bed situation. Does not sound fun for the back. Yeah, no, my entire body. Boy howdy. That's like partly why I did not stream on Tuesday. I mean, I guess that was like the main reason, is like over a week sleeping on an air mattress. Very bad for you. I think the wind chill is expected to go to -70 in the Rocky Mountains. Wow. I once tried to run in 0-degree weather. Do not recommend. EB, all of your plants are inside because they partly froze. Like, I take all my plants in fairly early. Yeah, so I guess you're in the PNW. It stays temperate for longer there, doesn't it? It's like it started getting cold enough to be dangerous for my plants like a couple months ago. So I brought mine in like October. -10 was the coldest I've been in, but -5 is no fucking joke. It is not. I've like cracked open the door or the window occasionally to just get like a gust of fresh air in my apartment, because like I'll be cooking, and like I was like cooking bacon earlier, and the fucking smoke alarm went off a little bit, and I was like, God damn it, because there's just not very great circulation in my space. And yeah, so I'll like crack open the window for a second, and just like whoosh, cold air bursts in, and I close it very quickly because I'm like, okay, that's enough fresh air. We don't need any more fresh air. The freshest air, the crispest air. Very exciting. See, oh, we're experiencing a snow bomb here. I'm ready. Oh, you're in Canada, right? Yeah, Dark Canuck, you're actually in Canada, not just from Canada. Obviously, that makes sense. So, yeah, I think we already got most of our snow here, but remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. Not much snow in the forecast, but it has been brutally cold. Yeah, just reading YouTube chat there for a second. How much snow? I don't know how much snow we actually ended up getting. Like an inch or two. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's going to stick around for very long. When y'all are talking negative degrees, I just assume you mean in Celsius, because any place above SoCal's latitude line is a frozen tundra to my knowledge. I mean, it's pretty temperate in Seattle. Like, that's why I've always wanted to move there, is because it's fairly the same all year round. Like, I guess it's gotten more extreme since, like, when I was a kid and thinking about this and like fantasizing about it, I was like 8. So that was 20 years ago. We did not have as extreme of weather. It's 23 degrees right now. Well, yeah, everybody's experiencing polar vortex. But you guys don't have like you guys don't typically have a very intense winter, is kind of what I mean. So like average across the year of like the intensity of your seasons is like a little bit more mellow compared to like the significant difference between like the normal difference. I don't mean the polar vortex version or the global warming version, but like in the Midwest, it's pretty normal. Yeah, for us to have like 20-degree weather and snow and shit, and then for our summers to be like 90 to 100 degrees. Yeah, typically averaging mid-30s in the winter, not a lot of snow up in the PNW, or not the PNW, that's Oregon, Seattle area. We got like a foot of lake effect a week ago. It has surprisingly stuck around so far. You got like a foot of snow. Oh yeah, I got mixed up with, what was it, PDX right then. My acronyms in my head just got all fucked up. There is some specific acronym for like the area around oh god, Portland, right? Yes, okay. That's what happened. PNW is just Pacific Northwest. PDX, Oregon. Snow blows in from the lakes. Balmy 40 degrees. What's up, Amy? Here in Pittsburgh, winter here tends to be mild AF, but we also live in the valley, so the snow doesn't really pile on here. It is so funny how those kind of small regional differences can just make like a marked difference in whether you get very much snow. I like looking at the snow, but I don't really want to go experience it. I'm an inside queer. I don't want to go outside. Yo, wow, you usually get like 8 inches of snow at a time? I mean, yeah, I was about to say, you can't really complain about getting 8 inches, I guess. You know, hardy har har har. Snow, high winds, and freezing rain. The storm trifecta in southwestern Ontario. Venusian says, I'm on the Isle of Turfdom and Surfdom. It's like 10 Celsius for me. That's not horrible, right? 10 Celsius is not too bad. Do you all get affected by the polar vortex at all? That's a good question. Does Europe get polar vortex? In 2021, one part of the broken polar vortex moved over North America and one remained over the European area. At this point, this did not yet influence the winter weather on the surface, as such events begin at over 18 miles altitude. Does the polar vortex affect Europe? Okay. So it can happen in Europe. But as far as I know, these big events have really been happening in the United States. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, all of the fucking Europeans, it's fucking midnight over there, so not a friendly time for them to be hanging out here. Doing well, been climbing over a depression that kicked in after I got turned down for a job I had really wanted. Plus IDK, maybe I got that long COVID because I can't go a day without 2 naps or more. I think that it remains to be seen the long-term effects of just long COVID all the time on everybody everywhere. Like, it's going to be kind of like multiple generations of humans with brain damage, just like every single person. We broke the vortex too. This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah. That's what this, I don't know if you were already in here, Canuck, when we were talking about this, but like, this is like sweeping down across the United States. Like, I saw a different video before that was more zoomed out, which I felt was a little bit better of it just was a better example because it showed where it comes out from the Arctic. Okay, so this is like what the polar vortex is supposed to look like, I think. Or is this the unstable? Like, I think it's supposed to be up here and it's like becoming unstable and like wobbly. NASA Earth Observatory maps the bitterly cold temperatures resulting from cold air pushed southwards by an unstable polar vortex. The maps and animations are by Earth Observatory's lead cartographer, Joshua Stevens. We have also a companion visualization showing what's happening on the other side of the planet, where a searing heat wave is blistering Australia. I did not know that there was also a heat wave in Australia at the same time. That looks bad. Like just the fluctuating colors there don't look very good. Happy freezing holidays, everyone. True. I'm going to change this around a little bit. Moving some stuff around. Yeah, my holidays hat. How should I scooch it around a little bit? There we go. Now we can see more clearly what's going on here. It's Star Wars. Oh my goodness. I have a pretty good freeze tolerance. A spider, it's like when you're in like wind chills of negative fucking 20 degrees, like there is no, I have a cold tolerance, you know, it's like your physical tissues just start to freeze. Like your body just like, you know, it's like if you're exposed to a sufficient amount of heat, it doesn't matter if you're well suited to the heat, your body will start to cook. Which is not what you want, typically. That is typically not what you want. So did you get all moved and stuff? Yes, Amy, I did get moved. This is the new place. That's why the background is so minimalistic right now. I have a couple of things on the wish list, on my Amazon wish list, which are like meant to go in the background here. Because I've pretty much settled on what I want to do here. It's just a matter of like, I'm not going to spend any more money this month until after rent is paid. That's my just personally like, unless I really need some food between like, and I have plenty of food here at home. So like, unless I really need some food or something in the next couple weeks, or week and a half or however much longer is in the year, I am going to not spend any money. But once we get over that hump and things are more regular and we're past the holidays, like everybody's views and donations and stuff this time of year, you know, dip. I'm sure you're familiar, Amy, as a creator, like, everything is just slower, so I'm trying my best to hold on to my monies. But yes, I'm set up here, and things are so comfy. Will we get to see the kitty cat today? No, Christy, I moved out, and I left the cat with my partner because I just figured it would be easier for me to find a place to live that way. I've never not had cats, really. Like, I have always had to take care of cats. So it kind of is good to just not have like the cat box responsibility and someone screaming at me as soon as I wake up in the morning because he's hungry. Excuse me. Have you heard of the 300 Club? It's a thing in Antarctica running from the 200-degree sauna to negative 100-degree outside and run around the South Pole. Why would you do that? Would you like a couple puzzles for your background? I had some of my art turned into 80-piece puzzles and got several copies back. Would love to send them to you if you like. So I do really enjoy puzzles. I do have a very specific idea for what's going to go in the background so far. I mean, yeah, I guess technically I do have this space down here that is kind of unused. But I want to get the critical elements that I want in there and then build out from that point and like see where things go, because I feel like my background before was really busy. Like I would be psyched to have a puzzle and I would buy one. I just might not put it in the background of the video. I'll have to ask my scientist friends who have been to Antarctica if they're in the 300 Club. Like, I guess like if you're in the sauna and you're like all toasty warm, you can run outside and do a quick run around and not lose any flesh. Like you're still, because you're all toasty warm still from the hotness, so you can like run and you're kind of like slightly more immune than you might normally be. Been thinking about checking out Denmark as a possible place to flee if things get too bad in the US, keeping my options open. Germany still seems most likely, I think. Yeah, I'm going to have to stay here for a little while longer than I thought, because I'm going to be providing some support to my siblings as they get closer to adulthood. You know, they need some older sibling presence in their lives. You know how it goes. You're also running and it's a quick in and out. I think it's like 100 to 200 meters total. Yeah, okay. So yeah. And your feet, do they wear feet stuff, or are they like buck naked? These are the important questions. I feel like I need to do something with my background ever since getting this camera with like 120D FOV, so much more wall shows behind me. Yeah, it is truly, excuse me, a struggle. Like my camera angles and stuff, I'm don't even know if this is how things are gonna stay camera angle wise, because I don't know if you can see, but you can actually, this is my top of my monitor here, and you can like see the top of my monitor. But this is there's gonna be vines right behind me, and then I was trying to figure out, oh, what should I do with the whole like the fucking bean, you know, like you can see the bean a little bit, but I also want to sit there, but I also want it to be comfortable. So I want to get a body pillow, and then I found like a body pillow case that has mushrooms on it, so it's gonna be like a mushroom body pillow case going all the way across, like long ways right here, and then from here it like all of this up here is gonna be vines like we talked about before. So that's like basically chat, you all kind of like decided that vines would look cool, so we're going with that. Shalender with the $5 dono, thank you. Mattress Fund, yes, I am gonna be probably just getting a Casper mattress if I cannot get a hand-me-down mattress in a pretty immediate sense. So I know they are generally naked, but I hope they wear footwear. Right, like I was thinking, like you said, like, oh, they run. I was like, okay, so maybe it's kind of similar to walking on coals, where it's like if you just go quickly enough, it can't burn you because the contact is just too brief. And I'm like, okay, what if you're like running cold? Does that also work? Or like cold and wet because you're coming from a sauna? It's like, would it have the same, like, it doesn't hurt you if you just go fast enough effect? Or is it more like your skin is gonna stick and rip every time you take a step, you know? It feels cold, true. Absolutely. I kind of do wish that I had felt a little less like shit yesterday, because it was Yule, and yesterday? What is it, the day before? No, it was yesterday. I just felt like shit, and I didn't want to do anything. Normally I would want to celebrate Yule, but I just dead ass didn't want to do fucking anything. So maybe I'll take my 2 days off, Friday and Saturday here, to do a little Yule celebration myself. They wear nothing but boots. Yeah, that would make sense. Just stick the boots on so that you don't lose a bunch of your skin. Anything over 65 or 70 degrees back then felt hot, but over 80 now is unbearable. Oh, over 80 was unbearable. Now it can be 90, and if it dips 5 degrees, I need a blanket. Yeah, it's funny how the estrogen just completely saps your ability to deal with being cold. I'm like, I've set the thermostat in my apartment to 76, and I still have the space heater running, because it's just, I was like, I'm not playing around with this negative fucking 6 degree weather or whatever. Basically Xmas minus the magic baby. Shalender, yeah, Shalender, how does one celebrate Yule? A lot of the things that you think of as Christmas Christmas celebrations, decorations, traditions are straight up taken from Yule. So, but they all kind of do have a specific meaning that doesn't tend to get as acknowledged in the Christian tradition. Like, you bring in the tree and you put on the lights and you put on the baubles, but why? Do you know why? Well, the reason is because the pagan tradition is that you bring the tree in because it's like a representation of the fact that while many things go dormant during this time of year, it is also like a time of like resiliency, and like there are certain types of greenery that like don't go away. So you bring the tree in and you decorate the tree with lights. And like some evergreens can also kind of represent like long life or like immortality and stuff like that. It depends on what your specific thing is. But then why do you put the baubles and the lights on the tree? Well, you do that because this is a religion of a farming, agricultural based society where they like have a lot of reverence for the sun and stuff. So you're kind of keeping the theme of light throughout the year in various capacities. So you bring in the light because you're trying to basically like weather the winter with these lights. So you use candles, you know, have the Yule log in the fireplace. If you're cold, they're cold. Bring the trees inside, except don't. Personal recommendation would be to not bring a real life tree into your house unless it's like planted in a pot and still has roots. Like if you want to get a tiny little evergreen that has roots and soil still, like it's a living tree, that's fine. But having intentionally burned some pine branches, like from my sister's tree a couple years ago, I went over to her place and was like burning stuff in her fire pit, and some of it was like her old Christmas tree had been chopped up, and they just like they just fucking go up, and I'm like, oh god, I can really see why these things are hazardous, you know. Fake trees will never die, just like the holiday spirit. True, Mama Mephistopheles. Hello. I do have a tiny fake tree. I don't have a way to... That is the only, I guess, one bummer about this background situation, is that it's not really customizable at different times of the year. There's not going to be like seasonal decorations per se. Like maybe that's what this is for. Like some kind of seasonal, something that changes. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But I do have the thing. Christmas tree. I have a little 1 foot tall Christmas tree. Real trees are fine if you use safe lights, keep it watered, and accept some increased fire risk. Like, if you're careful, I guess you're fine. John Get Bent with the tier 1 sub. Thank you. Enjoy your dicks. I appreciate that. Don't leave it on when you aren't there. Yeah, just use LED lights on your tree, you know. Dicks, true. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Solstice. It's Yule. You know, it has occurred to me that I haven't, I don't really, as much as I used to, talk about like Demon Mama and hanging out in her streams and the Impmas, because it actually has been a while since I was regularly hanging out in Mama streams. But I went to one last night, and she does Impmas for her little imps, and I appreciate that, even though I don't have that much of love for Christmas. Like, it's nice to have fake holidays this time of year. Merry Dixmas. Oh my god, I wish. Quantum Cactus. Oh my god, I wish. How am I supposed to see it when I pull up to the house? I mean, Amy, you just have to go on errands by yourself, and then other people can be at home with the lights on, with the tree lights on, and then you can come home. I have some Christmas lights up. I'm not sure if mine are... I think I may have specifically gotten regular ones. Oh my god, what are they called? Incandescents. Because the LEDs like flash at a certain like vantage, like what frequency? That's the word. They flash, and sometimes they flash slowly enough that my partner can see it. So I was like, oh, maybe I should just not get the LED ones so that they don't cause any headaches. Happy Horty Days. That's true. It is the Happy Horty Days. It's like Happy Honda Days. Happy Hanukkah. What? Oh my gosh. Y'all are wild tonight. The Maccabees died for this. One thing about having the heat on all the time is that it's so dry. Fluorescent lights sometimes fuck me up with the flashing. I can see the LED Christmas lights flicker. Yeah. Merry Cumsmas. I can mostly tune out the flicker. It's like my partner was like, oh, now that I use a 140 hertz monitor, it's a lot easier to notice even when lights are at 60 hertz. 'Tis the smuggy season. I mean, it is the smuggy season. It's like, does anybody want to donate enough for me to get another bad dragon? Not like, no, don't do that. If you donate enough for me to get another bad dragon, I'm not gonna buy the bad dragon. I'm just gonna hold on to that cash as long as possible. You can donate in the spirit of me getting another bad dragon, but 'tis the season to get warm and close with your loved ones. Ooh woo, ooh woo. Yeah, I am excited about. I don't really know if there's like a plan for, like, my partner just invited me to come over on Sunday, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll come over. Like, it's Christmas, cool. I don't know if there's like a plan for what we're gonna do though. You owe me a bad dragon or a bad dragon equivalent. If you donate to me, I will buy a bad dragon. It's like someone donated to me the money that I needed to get the headboard that I needed for the mattress that I don't yet have. But I haven't bought the headboard thing yet because I was waiting until I moved in here, but now I'm like, oh, money, it's tight. I'm like, oh man, my fucking internet is on auto pay, you know? And I gotta get that good internet. Because good stream quality. I can also hear fairly high tones, but not as much as when I was young, like from VCRs. Yeah, I can hear TVs and stuff sometimes. The buzzing of fluorescence can drive me nuts, which is wild because I don't fall susceptible to other electronic buzzings and stuffs. I may or may not be in possession of information about a special Infamous celebration tomorrow. Well, Mama said that she was going to stream 2 more times before Christmas, so I assumed that that meant she was going to be on her Friday and Saturday schedule. So that's cool. I don't have any plans tomorrow or Saturday, so I could potentially be there. Shellender, $5 for the Bad Dragon Fund. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I applied for SNAP benefits, so if I can offset some of the food costs, then I might actually be able to afford the Bad Dragon, which would be great. I say another Bad Dragon because I do have a couple other Bad Dragons. They're just like, you know, you get one and you don't really know what the silicone texture is going to be like or anything. So you're like, okay, well, this one is like fine, but it's kind of only on certain occasions where you're like, yeah, I'm in the mood for that kind of weird texture or whatever specifically. I want a soft headboard, but I also want it purple, which doesn't seem to exist. Actually, Mephistopheles, like that, I was thinking that. Listen, I was just thinking, like, I'm trying to decorate my apartment, you know, and not just like with frivolous shit, but like with shit that I need. Like, I need dish towels, right? I need dish towels. The colors for dish towels, not very great. And the one purple that they had was like a pastel lavender purple, like a really, really desaturated pastel lavender purple. And I'm like, I don't think it would be really possible to have like a purple furniture theme and have them be like good purples. Like, they're gonna be these like shitty lavenderish colors. So yeah, it's really hard to get furniture like headboards and stuff that are good shades of purple. I found the one that's on my wish list right now it's like dark gray, almost black. I'm feeling more chaotic neutral dragon tonight. Okay. Chaotic neutral dragon. I tend to be chaotic good, and I don't know that I experience very many deviations from that, but I don't know, sometimes you just need a little bit of mischief. If you have one, it obviously needs a friend. Well, so Shellender, I actually have like, so it's not like I buy a Bad Dragon every year. I think the first one that I bought was in like 2014, I want to say. So like a while ago. I have 3. I get chaotic neutral when I'm drunk. The desire to drink is a weird one. Because again, a lot of the time, for the most part, in the daytime, I'm like, I don't really care. But then it's like this time at night, it's like 6 or 7 at night, and I'm like, But also, I can't go anywhere because I don't think my car would start if I tried to go somewhere right now. Postmates. I should get some Postmates. My mom got me these nice dish towels with a pastel yellow. They're really nice and fluffy too. I wish that I liked yellow. Got that gigabit. Yeah, I got that gigabit internet. It's expensive. And I have to pay for the installation. Like, that's an extra $100. So, you know, I got that, like, almost $200 internet bill on auto pay on Christmas right before rent is due. Just trying to hold on to my money. I love royal purple. I get as much as I can in royal purple. Yes. I think someone got me some sheets off the wish list that were like a nice royal purple. Oh man. I can't wait to have a bed to put them on. Oh, sheet. True. You don't have to justify having multiple BDs. I relate. I mean, yeah, it's like, it's obnoxious to have multiple bad dragons and be like mostly not interested in using them because of various things that like, it wasn't exactly what I thought that it was going to be like once I actually had it. Like the one that's like medium hardness silicone, like medium on the exterior. No, it's a bad texture. It's like too rigid. Don't like it. Not good. I got one toy that was a flop because they accidentally used like extra soft instead of soft stuff, silicone. And I think that the extra soft silicone has the best texture on the outside. But it also has a knot. And like you're not always in the mood for a knot, you know? And then the other one that I got is like Orochi, which is the dragon one. And I don't know why I thought that I was like gonna be a size queen at the time, but it's just really large. and like not, it's just not an everyday toy. It's like you gotta warm up for it toy. And I am such a lazy masturbator. Like, frankly, is part of it too. Size princess at most. Yeah, exactly. Like a size princess who doesn't do it often enough to be able to easily do size, you know? Like, I used to enjoy my toys, but after getting on a new antidepressant, I went from unsatisfiable to all-out asexual. That's rough, Beth. I mean, it's fine if you're not, like, if you don't have the urge, then I guess that makes your life a little bit easier. But, yeah, I've certainly had less of a libido in the past year. And I don't know if it's just because I'm like 28 and those things just naturally are kind of slowing down, or if I am like just really stressed and upset all the time. That could be it. Dapple, holy shit, with the $100 dono, Merry Xmas. Wow, thank you. Merry Xmas to you. That is super generous of you. Helping me through the holidays, like seriously. None of this shit would be happening to the degree that it's happening if it weren't for you all making it happen. So, holy fucking shit. Holy forking shirt balls. I changed the colors of the thingy. Do you like it? I think it's much less annoying now. Seriously, thank you. Thankfully, my SSRIs haven't really tanked my sexual function. If anything, it raised my libido, which frankly is kind of insane to me. Nice The Good Place reference. Yeah. I watched... I can't remember if I finished that show or not. Maybe I'll have to go back around and see and, like, actually watch the whole thing. What's up, Jimmy Nails? Hello! Hey, Lucid Dreamer says, I'm here watching with Midnight Masquerader. What's up? So you are talking about what I thought. Yeah, Jimmy Nails. Yeah. We are talking about sex toys. and the Orochi is the only one that I got that has a suction base. So haven't had much libido before or after SSRIs. That just sounds like much easier. Oh, damn. Yeah, I don't think I've watched season 4 of The Good Place then. I think maybe I've only seen seasons 1 and 2. Because Gayfesh says The Good Place had like 5 episodes in a row in season 4 that each could have been the finale, and it kept coming and hitting harder each time. Oh my god, that sounds like a lot. Smuggy chat time. I do like the new color of Money Bar. Cool. Yeah, it's a little bit like, I mean, this is the green of fully finished. Like, if I were to, just for the sake of seeing the bar, not because I feel motivated to raise the bar on the stream today. Like, that's $125 is like fucking good. If I did that every stream, I would be solid. It is easier. I kind of feel bad for my big libido friends. LOL. Seems like a lot of work. True. God, it is. And like, my partner, for all the time that we lived together, was like ace flux, but like wasn't really interested in figuring that out very specifically. So it was just kind of always like, well, my libido is really high, and he's like, well, my libido is really low, and I'm like, okay, well, that's like, can you like fix it? I don't like can you try to encourage libido? Like, you can create some kind of tension, right? Like, but no, that's with ace people, that it just isn't there. What does smuggy mean? Yeah, it's a horny emote. It means like, it's like when you make a dirty joke and you look over at somebody like waiting for them to respond, and you're like, yeah, I made a dirty joke. Foreplay is key. True. But even for aces, like, if you do, like, even if you do foreplay stuff, you know. Oh shit, yeah, sorry, I just missed your earlier message. I have a crazy libido, but my sensitivity is very low. I always feel bad for my girlfriend because it takes like 10 times the work to finish me off than it does for her. Foreplay is key. Yeah, I mean, I think that for people with, do you have estrogen in your system, Mama Mephistopheles? Like, I'm just, because I think that the biggest comparison with libidos and sex stuff is with just whether you mostly have testosterone or mostly have estrogen, in the sense of like what kind of things really build tension for you. Like, on testosterone, for me at least, it's like, yeah, it's like a full body experience or whatever, but it can be really more like dick-centric, and doesn't necessarily have to be very involved intimately. But like, when you have estrogen in your body, it's like the more time you spend touching everything except the dick, the quicker you're going to like pop off when you actually move to touching the dick part, you know? Dicks-centric, exactly. I propose of nothing you're talking about, but nice hat. Thank you. We're not streaming on Christmas. Normally I stream on Sundays, but we're not streaming on Christmas. So I was like, okay, this is like the Christmas stream. I guess we're gonna do it 2 days after Christmas. I'll see you all again on the 27th, unless some other crazy shit happens. Oh my gosh. I need to get back into doing yoga. Is anybody else feeling like they need to start stretching and exercising and stuff more? Also, I apologize if the fucking air is really loud when the heat turns on. I'm not turning the heater off. Mercrumus. We've had a couple sex clubs here. I went to the one a lot, but haven't been to the other because I've had no libido since finally getting accepted into their community. I guess right now, since I'm on my own, I will be thankful that my libido isn't as intense, because it's like, okay, I can mostly like just not think about it, which is good. I'm having goddamn panic attacks again. Like, these last few days, like yesterday, like I slept like shit, really, really shit, like 2 nights in a row, and I was like non-functional, and oh, I got totally distracted from what I was saying. like I finally got enough energy to get some food together, because I also didn't eat all day. Like I was really tired and I didn't eat very much, and then I finally ate, and then like panic attacks. Panic attacks suck. Gotta sleep well to avoid them, to help avoid them. Yeah, I ended up taking like a half a Xanax that I had left over from a procedure in order to sleep. Because like it's like weird when your panic attack is specifically getting worse when you try to lie down to sleep. Does anybody else have this thing happen? And it's very terrible. I really hate this and I can't recommend it. Do you ever have a time when you like try to go to sleep, but when you like, every time you try to go to sleep, your body is like, I think that we're about to die if we fall asleep. Like, you know, I don't know what dying feels like, but I kind of imagine that it feels like falling asleep, where you just lose consciousness. So sometimes if I'm having like panic symptoms, I'll like, when I start to feel like I'm about to fall asleep, I like panic and jerk awake, and it really fucking sucks. The libido community. Hypnic jerk? No, not a hypnic jerk. Not like, you know, like not like my leg twitches because I'm about to fall asleep, but like I feel myself like I can kind of feel the difference between being awake and being in phase 1 sleep. Because in sleep studies, if you wake up a person while their brain waves are registering as being in phase 1 sleep, they usually say like, oh, I wasn't sleeping. I was just still thinking about my day. But so I can feel that difference in the wavelengths or whatever it is in my brain, where I'm like, something has shifted and I'm still thinking about my day, but I can tell that I'm asleep. Like my eyes don't want to open. Like there's been a change. And so I think it's when you switch into phase number 2 that I like, sometimes I feel like I'm in the losing consciousness. I'm like worried that I'm dying, like that my loss of consciousness is death. Like I'm doing that. So that's weird. So I took Xanax last night to sleep and it helped. I slept for like a solid 6 hours, just about. Los Gibbities. That was most nights with OCD before medication. Really? Nouvenal, you're like OCD? You would not be able to fall asleep because you felt like you were going to die? I never remember falling asleep. I have a lot of trouble with it. I also struggle to fall asleep. It is not a fun time. And then I fucking wake up a lot throughout the night, which actually... has anyone else ever heard of this? I'm going to hit up my regular doctor about this, but I recently started seeing a psychiatrist for my Ritalin, and he asked me if I had sleep apnea, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I've never had a sleep study done. And he said that there is a correlation between sleep apnea and ADHD, which is what I was there for. I was there for ADHD drugs. And then I was reading a little bit more into it, and it turns out that like sleep apnea can cause the symptoms of ADHD. So it's like, I kind of wonder, because like I do have trouble breathing sometimes, even when I'm awake, much less in bed. Like if my throat is kind of like this, like it just feels like, and what happens in sleep apnea is that like the muscles and stuff in your throat relax in such a way that your tongue and your throat like obstruct your breathing physically. And so you get disrupted in your sleep. I mean, there is like a central type of sleep apnea, which is like your nervous system, where your brain doesn't send the signal to breathe, which is different than like having your jaw misaligned or whatever it is that can cause like the physical blockage. Happens sometimes still, yeah. I mean, I'm glad to hear that I'm not alone in this. I was wondering about sleep apnea. My dad has sleep apnea. So yeah, now I'm kind of wanting to talk to my doctor about like whether he knows that there's a difference, or if he knows about a correlation, not a difference, a correlation between ADHD and sleep apnea. My dad has sleep apnea, and he sleeps with one of those machines. I was reading recently that you could get like a mouth guard that just holds your jaw in a different position so that you don't have this problem, like rather than having a machine hooked up to you all night. So I might look into that myself. I wake up choking sometimes. I also grind my teeth. I've actually broken teeth in my sleep. That doesn't sound fun. I grind my teeth during the day, but I'm not sure if I grind my teeth at night. I've thought about getting a mouth guard for my teeth to protect my teeth at night, but even better if I can get one that would help with my breathing. I did a sleep study a few years ago. I just don't have insurance, and I don't think I can do a sleep study. I didn't start sleeping regularly until I started taking an extended release Adderall every day. Before that, it was completely chaotic. Interesting. I thought that you were about to say like extended release Ambien, because that does keep you asleep all night. You were in my dream last night. Okay, Bobby Codes, that's interesting. You were the bass player for Primus. I mean, that sounds cool. It sounds like I was really cool in your dream, so I'll take it. I've had dreams with so many random people in them. Like, I had a dream with Doe in it. I can't remember what happened in the dream, but I just remember that I had a dream with Doe in it. And I used to dream about Abigail Thorne, but before she transitioned, before she came out, before I knew that she was not a man, she would be in my dreams sometimes. I've had dreams with Markiplier in them before. Yeah. The dentist got me a mouth guard a few years ago, and I chewed it to pieces the first night I used it. Good night, Spider. Oh wait, I had a dream that was a nightmare about my job. Couldn't find where to put the cheese. No. Sounds like you are spending too much time online. Well, James, there is still a mass disabling deadly virus in the world, and I live alone, so online is kind of where I get all of my social interaction, and I would rather get the social interaction. Why is the idea of Doe in a dream immediately giving me a vision of Doe at the Capitol steps going, "I have a dream"? I cannot imagine taking Doe that seriously. Like, that sounds ridiculous. Like, I don't think Doe would be able to hold it together. Like, I just imagine that it would laugh a lot. I've dreamed of Jenna Ortega after watching Wednesday. She is pretty cute, yeah. I have no particular interest in watching Wednesday. Is it worth it? Should I like use my time to do that? It would be very giggly while doing the bit. Yeah. Okay. So that's an accurate read. I'm like, I don't think Doe would take that yeah. I wish Abby Thorne visited my sleep. She was one of my parasocial mom figures. And now you don't dream of her. Trans misogyny. Like, listen, I think that, like, there was a weird part of me that did kind of feel like, I mean, like, as I have struggled in a relationship with a cis man, in some ways that I think are pretty typical to the struggles that you have in relationships with fairly emotionally underdeveloped cis men, is like, Abby was like a man person who was like cool and emotionally aware. And so I would have dreams with her in them in that kind of capacity. And I was like surprised, I guess, when she came out because of that. So I don't know. It was weird. Doe is so intimidating to me. Like, it's so intelligent that I'm actually intimidated by it. I've said this before, and Gayfesh just keeps telling me that, like, Doe is just like a nerdy faggot, and I'm like, okay, that sounds about right. And then every time I see Doe, it's like super giggly and embarrassed and stuff, like just occasionally popping off these incredibly intelligent sounding things and then kind of reverting to being like just a weirdo. I'm a nerdy faggot. True. Me too. Cheers. Ooh, I think that writing short stories and stuff would be really cool, Mersh. I was actually thinking about getting back into writing and stuff this winter. I will say I've only been in this apartment for like a week and a half, and I have managed to successfully, like, regularly at least touch base with the two instruments that I'm trying to familiarize myself with this winter. Like, I at least play a couple things I'm familiar with on the guitar, and I'm planning on learning some scales and stuff. Like, I'm planning on really learning the actual instrument and all the fretboard and stuff, and like how to play shit in different positions all the way up the neck and stuff, because I can play in first position pretty okay, but I do want to expand my knowledge on that. And then I also have my keyboard, like the piano keyboard, which I'm learning how to play piano basically for the first actual time. I've kind of like played around with it a little bit in the past, but I actually want to be able to do it. So right now I'm in the try to divorce my hands phase of learning piano, where you're like, your hands don't really want to work independently. Like, even when you're typing, your hands are working in conjunction towards something. And when I'm playing on the keyboard, you can kind of get them to act independently at first, like, but only insofar as if you're playing on the same like beats for the most part. Like, once you get to like playing things not exactly at the same time on both hands, my hand, like, it just falls apart. And my one hand that I'm trying to do something with just like stops or like gets off tempo or whatever. So that part is where I'm at here. That reminds me of a story Abby told in her coming out video of a kid who said they looked up to her as a positive masculine figure. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, before she came out, I mean, as much as I understand, like, I understand that she was miserable. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I miss it back when she was whatever. But she was kind of an example of like, oh, maybe men aren't terrible as a demo. And so like when she came out, it's like, oh, maybe men are terrible as a demo. Like, are all the good men just actually women? Is that the world that we're living in? I don't know. I've met more trans bass players than cis bass players. Yeah. Am terrible. I try not to talk too much shit. I just, like, again, the persistent difficulties in life that you experience kind of in like uniquely when you're dealing with men. Wow.
Oh yeah.
I need my Oh, we have a $1 tip from Al. Thank you. I only noticed that because my volume was on, apparently. I did not have the notifications on correctly from myself. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. Frog in my throat for a second there. Yes. 126. Thank you, Grape God. I appreciate that. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. How do I join the chat? Join Lux website and log in, see the chat, but then have no option to write to the chat. Bria, so it's, if you go to, it's luxander.net/live, is specifically where the chat is, and there should be a little place on the bottom right where you can start typing. So if you're logged in, that should be how it works for you. Yeah, Brea said that they were logged into the website. But you do have to be logged in, yes. And you can log in with your Twitter account, with your Google account, whatever. I would recommend logging in with at least 2 so that you don't forget whichever one it was. Yeah. Oh my God, I have a website. Oh my God, luxander.net/live. If you're hanging out in the YouTube chat, like, I just unabashedly, like, am ignoring the YouTube chat because it's too far away for me to look. Like, it's just way over here in the corner for me to look at. It's just really far away. The website chat is where it's at. We got the good emojis over here. Good grief. I was not sure whether we were going to actually talk about any news today. Good emojis like dicks. True, Halfling Row. Welcome back, and thank you for your dono earlier. Much appreciated. Hope you're having an okay time at work right now. Yeah, we've been here for like an hour 15. Whoa, what is that? What did you do? Is it an ice cube? Yeah, Smuggy frozen. Okay. Frozen Smuggy. Is that like when, is that when you want to... Is that when, like, Frozen Smuggy is when you try to flirt, but she ices you out or something? Any good news? Yeah, there is good news. I don't think any good news that I would make a segment out of, so we can kind of just talk generally about it. Because there was, like, one thing, I think. At least. Oh my god, why do I have 9 notifications? We had a good news. Oh, I just want to talk about this really quick. I saw this on Facebook a couple days ago, and I have not stopped screaming since I saw it. Up here it says, "You didn't show any symptoms when you were younger. My brother in Christ, what the hell is this?" So I just felt like, whoa, I've literally never seen anyone talk about this before. I've literally never seen anyone acknowledge that this is a thing that people would do as children. And I did that. I mean, I didn't, like, usually my arms would be like, I'd be supporting my weight and stuff on my elbows, and then I would use my hands to support my hips and my lower back to, like, keep myself propped up, because it's more relaxed that way. You don't have to actually engage your ab muscles. Then you're like, all the weight and stuff is being supported by just this angle, the perfect triangle shape, holding your ass up in the air. As children? I don't do it as much anymore. I don't want to talk about the Scottish Bill today, Shalender, because it's going to be a bigger segment, including... I guess we can acknowledge it, but I will talk about it again next week in the context of... Also, there's, like, the TERF who flashed her junk or whatever, you know? So that's going to be a thing. If Twitter goes down, will I still be able to use my account on here? Quarbarian, that's why I say you should add another authentication method. I took Twitter off. Like, all of my white leaf sites where I have my login, including my own website, I took my Twitter off because of the security breaches that we were suspecting might be happening a few weeks ago. I did this as a kid, but I'm pretty sure I'm not autistic, just ADHD. I still firmly believe that ADHD and autism are just cousins. Is the stream hiccuping for anyone? Because I kind of feel like maybe I'm witnessing some hiccuping. Please let me know. I would not be surprised if the internet is just going to be funky because of the wind is just making everything kind of crazy. Okay, stream is hiccupy. Okay. We'll see if that continues. She flashed a merkin. Yes, yeah. I saw the fake bush. I knew I was bisexual from a young age because I could not sit on a chair properly to save my life. Oh, Raccoon Pope says one of the first things I saw this morning was her and her merkin. LMAO, that is not what I wanted to wake up to. Yeah, so generally, you know, we'll do a segment properly about it next week, but it is good news that Scotland, because Scotland is like part of Great Britain, right, but not part of the United Kingdom. Like they're legally like not exactly the same as England. So like when England makes rules, oh, is it part of both? God, I listen, there's a CGP Grey video out there that explains what Great Britain actually is and is not. And go watch that. Great Britain is an island. Okay. So the Great Britain is the island. A city and a city and a country and a country. Anyway, I am not concerned about that. What I am concerned about is the structure of their government, which is that Scotland has a different parliament than the UK. So they were making a law for Scotland regarding how to handle changing documentation. Because the way that it currently works over there is like you have to transition for a while, get like a doctor's permission and stuff in order to change your documentation in the sense of like what is going to show up on your documentation when you get married. Like if you're assigned male and you want to be a bride at your wedding, you like legally have to be considered the groom until you get a gender recognition certificate, which changes that or allows you that's like the slip from the government that says you're allowed to change it. So then you take that documentation to this place, and this place in order to change it. So you wouldn't be able to get married as your own gender. And I think that it also has to do with death certificates. Like, I think that it may also be that if you're a trans man who is transitioning to male and you die, you would be recorded as female, I think, unless you had had a gender recognition certificate given to you. So Scotland, which has its own parliament, subordinate to the UK one in general. Okay. They've passed this law to make it to where you don't need a doctor's permission anymore to change that info. Like they still have a requirement that you have to be living as your target gender for a certain period of time, but then you can just change it at like to what you, I don't know if they have any non-binary options though. It might just still be male and female. I haven't looked into it that deeply yet. My God. Are trans people actively trying to become grooms? Liberal, true. Target gender, slightly upscale version of Walmart gender, also true. So they passed that, and that was good news. And there were other funny things that happened surrounding it, but I don't want to get too far into it. Because we will actually talk about it later. Not non-binary yet. They will revisit in 3 years. Okay, like, are there? It's why? I don't understand. What is the point of waiting 3 years to do non-binary recognition? Is it just because like politically you can't do things too fast? They're like, oh no, it'll shock the culture if we add non-binary yet, or are they like, oh, it remains to be seen if there are very many non-binary people who need this yet. But then if there are like more non-binary people in 3 years, they're going to be like, oh my God, how could you convert so many people? And it's like, oh my God, there's just, it's catch-22 all over the place. Catch-22, catch-44, because it's so ubiquitous. There was some actual good news today, though. Oh, yeah, so this is... I don't really plan on doing a segment about this at all, but LGBT groups celebrate as Spain passes transgender law. Spain's lower house of parliament on Thursday passed a law that allows people over the age of 16 to change their legally registered gender without any medical supervision. Under this law, drawn up by the center-left coalition government, minors aged 12 or 13 will need a judge's authorization to make the change, while those between 14 and 16 will have to be accompanied by their parents or legal guardians. The law also bans so-called conversion therapies to suppress sexual orientation or gender identity, establishes fines and punishments for attacks on LGBT people, and overturns a ban that prevented lesbian couples from registering their children under both parents' names. Lesbian couples specifically? Like, did gay couples have the ability to register their children under both parents' names, but specifically lesbians couldn't? How fucked up is that? Anyway, it looks like I'm going to be teaching myself Spanish. That sounds like a good idea. Probably worried about an election cycle, I guess. I wish that was a legitimate reason. And then there was one other thing that was actually good news. Oh, I just want to bitch for a second while I'm looking through my Twitter timeline for this other good news. I'm trying to get food stamps, and the website is broken. Like, when I try to log in, I get the same error every time. So I've received emails which are telling me, hey, you have God, I'm so collapsed into this frame. I've gotten these emails that say, hey, you have a message on the self-service portal. And I'm like, okay. And then I try to log in and I can't. It's the same error every time. So then I called and they're like, oh yeah, everybody's experiencing that error. And I'm like, okay, so they're already working on it, whatever. And then I tried to call earlier this week, not the help desk for the website, which is what I originally called, but I tried to call to find out what the messages were that I was supposedly receiving. And I click through all the fucking shit on the phone, and I click through all the shit, and it's like, okay, call times are a little bit longer than we have expected. Like, please be patient. And then it's like, you are number 42 in the queue. And I was like, click. I'll get to it maybe next week when maybe there are more people in the office I don't think there's going to be very many people in the office next week either, but maybe I'll just turn on Wi-Fi calling on my phone and call and then let it just be on hold for a long, long time. I had that happen too with EBT. Right, like they're going to... Exactly, waiting in queue would have taken a week. There were 42 people in the queue, and it was like noon when I called. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is like a call at 8 a.m. kind of problem. But they're really trying to make it impossible. However, even if it takes them a really long time to figure it out, like I submitted the paperwork like a week and a half ago, so you get your benefits. Once you get approved, you receive benefits from the date that you signed, basically. So it would technically give me a little bit of money for like December's food, even if it doesn't get approved until January. I haven't had EBT in a long time, but I remember it being a pain in the butt to do anything, and that was pre-COVID. Well, the great thing, Halfling Rogue, is that everyone who is not me, like everybody who works for places, has just decided to start doing things like normal. So I bet that they have the normal amount of staff and that none of them are working from home and they're not wearing masks and everything is just normal. I mean, except for the fact that people keep getting sick and not being able to come to work because they're, ill with all kinds of mysterious respiratory infections. Ooh. So many respiratory infections. So many, you don't even know what to do with all these respiratory infections. EBT has been easy for me since I got approved for it. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Like, once I get it, it'll probably be fine, and I won't have to hound them to, like, fill it every month or whatever. But the process of getting it is going to be fucking irritating. And, it's the time of year, too. People request time off this time of year. Staffing is underdone. I could have called today, but I was like, there's no fucking way any people are working today. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I've never been on a public service like food stamps before. And it's just like a debit card thing that you get and you go and you buy the food. So it's going to be fun to learn, like, oh, are there any foods that I can't buy on this thing? Probably nothing that I usually try to eat. The goal of COVID response was not to help us. It was to reduce the impact of COVID on profits. I mean, that's God, the absolute truth. And profits are at a fucking all-time high. Wages are still depressed. We still have, just the inflation is massive. It's so expensive. the amount of money that I have to spend on food, like that's the main reason why I'm getting food stamps. Like I could probably get by with no help with food. Probably. Like you all are very generous. I'm very thrifty. I don't really need very much. Like I'm kind of a skinny person and I work inside, so it's not like I have a big appetite to work up. Ooh, big strong appetite to work up. But the inflation is just crazy. It's easy to use. I haven't had any issues with the food I buy. No alcohol is the only thing, which a little Puritan, but fine. What? You could be cooking with the wine? Eat my dick, government. If only I could get SSRIs for my depressed wages. Fucking men. Also, a reminder that nearly every Republican voted against the federal $15 minimum wage increase. Hold on. What was that one? The GOP tweet. Hold on. GOP, paycheck to paycheck. Where was this tweet? Oh, come on. It's not showing me the little thing that's like, or did someone make that up? Did someone fabricate this? Because this was the tweet. The tweet was 60% of workers report living paycheck to paycheck from GOP confirmed account. And the one that I saw was like, it had the little factoid thing on the bottom that said, users of the website thought that, the tweet was definitely real, but there was the disclaimer before that said readers of this tweet wanted to add more context, and it said the GOP or like the Republican Party has consistently voted against minimum wage increases. But I don't know if that part of the screenshot was real or not. Yeah, the UBT restriction is on hot food. Like you can't get the fresh food from the kitchen in the grocery store, but you can buy the cold versions. Yeah, God forbid I pay for pre-made food with EBT. God forbid I want like hot food. Could I get sushi? Like some grocery stores have that have a sushi bar along with like if they have like a salad bar and other fresh foods. Can you buy sushi? So because it's cold, but it's prepared. Man, now I want sushi. I'm gonna get hungry before too long. That's so funny. That's so weird. What about the Walmart chickens? Do you mean like the rotisserie chickens? I would assume that the rotisserie chickens would be off the plate, right? Like they would have to be not allowed. Maybe Elon took the disclaimer off. That's fucking possible. I was able to get rotisserie chicken with EBT here in Tennessee before my benefits got cut off for no reason. Yeah, God. Interesting. So those are going to be some limitations. They're going to be fun to find. But yeah, I've supposedly received 3 messages on the self-service portal, and they're working on it. Like, it's been a problem for long enough that it actually is, when you call, it's not obvious what they mean when they say this, but they say, like, there's, like, a certain type of error that people are getting on the website. You should know that we're working toward, like, fixing that problem. But what they describe it as on the phone is not the same error that pops up on the website, so I still I still went through the process to talk to an actual person. You can get the take-home heat and eat chickens. Oh my God. I did get some chicken out of the freezer last night, so I do have some chicken that I could make. Ooh, I could make chicken Alfredo. Oh my God. Conservatives will do whatever it takes to make as much suffering as possible. If they can't remove food stamps altogether, they want to take as much joy as you can possibly experience out of the simple prospect of having food. Right. Like, haven't there been various discussions over the years of taking steak, like to make it so that you can't buy steak on a food stamps? And it's like, oh yeah, so people on food stamps don't deserve to have a fucking anniversary dinner, or don't deserve to have a birthday dinner. Like once in a blue moon you can't buy a steak. We should be James, we might be about to fight. James in the YouTube chat says, we're in regards to COVID, We should be pragmatic too, though. At this point, COVID is never going to go away. We just need to live with it now. Take precautions, sure, but you can't stay inside forever. No. And also, fuck you a little bit. Like maybe this is like a unique thing about being a young disabled person. I'm 28 and I'm disabled. I'm disabled with something that COVID can give you permanently. I've just had it since probably my entire life, at least since I was a teenager. So I am disabled and I'm young and I care a lot about like not only whether or like whether I live the full extent of my years, but also like the quality of those years. And like in terms of the quality in my health, like I know people are like, oh, well, what quality of those years are you really going to have if you're staying inside? Like, you don't understand what it's like to be disabled is what I'm hearing when you say that. You don't understand what it's like to, whether you're inside or outside, to not be able to function. Already have the thing that COVID can give you permanently, so you're invincible. Sarcasm, true. Like I would much rather be at home and like missing out on social things and like sad and lonely and dealing with the stress of being sad and lonely millions of times over being any more disabled than I currently am. Like a million times over. I have no desire to be more disabled. And not only that, but I don't want to die. Like, because it's not only that if you died directly from COVID, like if you have the respiratory illness when you initially get sick and you die that way, you will have suffocated to death. That's what it means when you get the intubation and they have to put you on a ventilator. Like, you suffocate to death. Point blank, period. If you die from COVID in the hospital because you have a respiratory illness, it's because your lungs cannot absorb any oxygen and you die. So the next phase is long COVID, where you have literal brain damage. How would you like to have brain damage? Have you ever been leaving your house and driving down the street and you're coming to a T intersection and you can't remember whether you're supposed to turn left or right because you can't remember where you're going? That's brain damage that you can get from COVID. I've had that happen before. It's not great. Like, and then additionally, not only that, but you have a 1 in 22 risk of having a major cardiovascular event in the first 12 months after a COVID infection. We don't know what happens to those odds with reinfection. I understand having brain damage. I am a Vosh fan. Yeah. It's like, yes, I can stay inside forever if you fucking people are just going to be like, we have to live our lives. Like, no. Like, you feeling like you need to just get back out there and live your life means that people like me will never be able to, because we already know what it's like to be disabled, and you're gonna find out, and you're gonna be very sorely upset when you realize that there are no resources there to help you. I already have ADHD, don't need any more. True. Like, it can give you all kinds of brain damage. Make sure nothing's crazy is happening on my phone. According to conservatives, that's not dying of COVID. If you didn't need oxygen, you would have been fine. That's a pre-existing condition. True. It's not just my life and my choice, though, James. Like, that part of the reason why it's so frustrating, James says, I do have depression, ADHD, anxiety. It doesn't sound like mine is as bad as yours, though. I get it. It's your life and your choice. The reason why I get so, like, frankly angry at comments like the one that you wrote about, like, you can't stay inside forever. Like, frankly, that makes me angry, because that mentality of like, oh, you can't stay inside forever, and that, like, it's your life and your choice, like, whatever, like, that individualistic mentality is what has gotten us in this position. Like, like, frankly, like, I'm not going to pin it all on people's inability to think critically, because that is part of it, but like, the public messaging is a big part of it. So I'm gonna, like, the public health messaging has been a huge failure on this. However, like, oh, it's your life and your choices. And when you say that, you're also saying it's my life and my choices, which means if I want to risk my life by going out there unmasked and potentially getting infected with COVID, then that's my choice. But you making that choice means that I don't have a choice. I have to stay home. I don't have a choice. People will lie about their COVID positive status, or they'll lie about where they've been, or they'll lie about whether they've been masking there. And so because you people feel like, oh, I can take the risk if I want to, like, that means that I can't ever participate in society, because like you're wanting to have the ability to do whatever, blah, 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 social events. Like, your inability to just fucking stay home means that I will never have an opportunity to participate in real life again. Like, if we keep on this way with the continual mutations and the like getting like it's not getting more mild. I think people have it in their heads that it's like more mild, and it's just like, we don't understand the long-term ramifications of this thing. It's not a respiratory illness. It's not a cold. It's a cardiovascular disease with a respiratory phase. It's not even a cardiovascular disease. Like, it can damage every cell in your body. We do not know. Like, people's teeth have fallen out, stillborn babies because placentas are just getting ate up, like people developing diabetes. The telomeres at the end of your chromosomes get worn out, so you might just like live 10 years less. Like, you might like age faster by like 10 years. If you were going to die naturally of old age at 80, that number is down to 70 now, you know, after like multiple reinfections. And that's not even accounting for the damage that it does to your immune system. So like, we have actually a kind of problem right now where a bunch of children are dying from strep. I had strep when I was a kid. Twice, I think, once when I was a teenager and once when I was much younger, and I didn't die from it because it's fucking strep. Like, you don't think of strep as something that can kill you, but if your immune system has been compromised by COVID, multiple reinfections, like, things that normally would be harmless are going to kill you. So it's like, it can kill you in so many different ways. It can reduce the quality of your life in so many different ways. And just people are like, yeah, but I want a haircut. People are like, yeah, but I want to go have a coffee at the coffee shop. Like, fuck you. Like, you're the reason why I'm never going to be able to like hang out with anybody anymore. Our devotion to the economy and not actually helping people. Yeah. My life, my choice is really fucking stupid too, because the federal government exists. If everyone else's choice is to go outside and act like COVID is fake, then the government is going to expect people to do so who can't without, expect people to do that who can't without risking permanent disability or death. So like, yeah, if all of you people just decide you're okay with accepting the risk of permanent disability and death, then like people who are more aware of that risk and who aren't willing to risk it, like, are going to still be forced into that position. Excuse me. Pro-choice, but for COVID. You don't have to carry COVID to term if you don't want to. Oh my God, excuse me. Yeah, exactly, Baphomet. Like, everyone is at risk of disability or death, but there are people who actually understand that risk. A woman at my work was a vaccine skeptic who used the my body, my choice argument. I ended up bringing her around by pointing out that she can go without a vaccine to protect her body, but it puts the responsibility on her to not go out into society as a high-risk vector. You managed to convince her? Really? On the grounds that, like, if she doesn't get vaccinated, then she is a danger to others and she would need to stay inside? Did she actually, like, get vaccinated? Oh God, I always had strep. It was horrible. Then I got my tonsils removed and only had it twice since, thankfully. Yeah, I think I only had it twice. There's a really specific kind of ache and feeling when you catch strep. Individualist culture in America has removed any ability to even think of others. I think she was convinced unless she lied. I mean, that's good to hear. It's always good to hear when people are like actually willing to change their minds. Which, by the way, January 7th, we're going to do a little ding-dang-all fucking genocide panel. Talking with, I think it's exclusively other trans people, except for the host. The host is a cis guy. We're going to be talking with a bunch of other trans people about whether or not what's happening to trans people right now qualifies as a trans genocide. A couple of the people in the group chat that we have right now seem like they're pretty cool people. And that they might actually be willing to discuss this in a way where we might change our minds. I obviously, like, I don't think my mind is going to change. Modern day debate. No, it's not a modern day debate. That sounds terrible. Actually, I think I've been on modern day debate before. I think I did do that a few years ago because I was on it was not really a debate, but it was like a conversation that got hosted. And I thought it was on modern day debate because it was about non-binary identities. Anyway. But no, this is by Will and his channel, who I spoke to him before. Is there an old-timey debate channel? I don't know. What's modern day debate? Oh, God. Modern day debate, they kind of like, they really are a debate platform. They don't they moderate in terms of like people talking over each other. But they don't like try to prevent people from saying outrageous shit. Like if someone says something, unless it's TOS, like don't drop the N-word, but like they really just are like, hey, I'm starting the show and here we go and here's a debate and here you get your first introduction, like 2 minutes, go. And then that's like it. And they're just like a platform for two people to debate in a moderated fashion. Yes, Vosh does go on modern day debate from time to time, and oh wait, the hosts debate with actual Nazis, really? Will the panel be hosted on your channel? Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming whatever day it happens. I'm just gonna it's gonna be like a 3-hour long thing. That's what Will he's aiming for, a 3 or 4 hour long stream. So I think that's gonna be on a Saturday. Is January 7th on a Saturday? Yeah, so that weekend, we will stream on Saturday. It'll be at like 7 p.m. So we're going to stream on Saturday, and then we're not streaming on Sunday. Because I think that'll be just too much. Unless I'm really feeling up for it on that Sunday. But yeah, Will is still getting that panel together. It's happening. Like, it's going to happen. The one thing that I'm looking forward to about it is, first of all, I do think a couple of the people on there are nice. And that even though we disagree on the definitions of what's happening, everything's sepia toned. Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, an old-timey debate channel where everything is sepia toned and you say, I say, old chap, I think you're wrong. That would be funny. Someone should do that. But yeah, so a couple of those people are going to be really nice to talk to, I think, even though we disagree about strictly the definitions thing. But the other fun thing about it is that Rose Mullet is going to be on this panel. And I can already tell that it's going to be a lot of fun. If you don't know who Rose Mullet is, don't worry about it. She's a young trans woman who still lives with her parents and is in college. And like she's a clout shark and she wants attention. Like we were in the group chat and there was some mention of like, someone said that they weren't comfortable with a trans person saying that someone else was, they weren't comfortable with a cis person saying that a trans person was being transphobic. And then Rose Mullet dropped in there like several comments down, like, you know, the conversation is moving on and unrelated. And she goes like, oh, like, LOL, that one time Xander Hall tried to tell me that I was transphobic because I don't believe in xenogenders or neopronouns. And I just ignored her, and everybody else in the chat ignored her as well. But I wanted to be like, don't fucking start shit right now, Rose. Like, I am gonna tear into her if she tries to talk to me directly during this stream. And like, I actually am starting to feel like maybe that's not the right approach to have because she's just a fucking 22-year-old. Or however old, she's like 20, 22, somewhere around there. But also, like, I really, really, really don't like her. Like, I really just really fucking don't like her. And I don't very often feel like someone's a piece of shit and also deserves for me to tell them that they're a piece of shit. So I don't know. I like Jimmy Snow's channel, The Line. They host a couple call-in shows where people are encouraged to call in and argue with the hosts. I'm familiar with The Line insofar as I'm friends with Jimmy Snow and he's invited me on The Line before, but I was kind of in the middle of a lot of shit right then, so I didn't end up going on it, but I should message him again sometime and be like, hey, do you want me to come on your show sometime? That would be fun. It's absolutely not the approach. She feeds on attention, even negative. Anyone who would put her on a panel has no care for the actual topic and is only in it for the drama. Well, so I don't think that he knows who she is. Like when Will initially messaged me and was like, are you okay with this lineup? Rose was like the only name that I recognized, and I don't think that he knows who she is. Like anytime there's a discussion about trans people getting on a panel talking about an issue, she just inserts herself. So he was like open to having trans people on this panel, saw this trans girl wanting to be on the panel, and was like, yeah. Oh, and like you disagree with the trans genocide as like you disagree that that's what is happening right now. So it's good to have a mixed bag of people. If I had told him she's a deeply unserious clout shark who is going to waste time by being there. Like if I had told him that, I imagine he would have preferred to have me on the panel if I had said like, I won't be on this panel with this dipshit. Like I think that he would have made that call, but I didn't make that call because I kind of want to be a cunt to her. I mean, but maybe that is not the approach. Like maybe I should just starve her for attention. Like maybe if instead of being shitty to her, if she speaks to me directly during the panel, I should just act like she is a ghost who does not exist. Maybe that's the way to go. Cloud sharks chase fat vape hits. True. The dragon is in. If it was me, I'd have seen her named and fucking dipped. I hate Rose Mullet with a passion, which is more than she deserves. What she deserves is hate with apathy. Is she a proto-Blair White? Yeah, she's a proto-Blair White. What are you vaping? This is just nicotine. It's like a mixed berry flavor. So, that's it. I get the draw, but really, LOL, nothing you can say to her face is something she hasn't heard before, and she always tries to spin it into further clout. She deliberately puts out offensively stupid opinions just so people know who she is. That's fair. Maybe the greater satisfaction is going to be in depriving her of attention. It's like she is going to be like the brain sucker on Fry's brain, and I'm Fry, and it's attention is what she wants out of my brain, and she's just going to fall off because she's not getting die because she's not getting any attention. Trying to make it to clouter space. True. People really undervalue being mean to people who suck and won't change. It's very cathartic. Yeah, it's about me. It's about me feeling better. But I get out most of my aggression in my YouTube comments. Like I just call people fucking idiots. And then like a couple more comments down, they make me too angry to host their comments on my channel anymore. So I get to delete all the evidence that I called them a fucking idiot. Okay, I got distracted. If I got the opportunity to yell at Trump face to face, I'd take that opportunity in a heartbeat. He wouldn't care. He's heard it all before. It's for me. Yeah, exactly. You get it. It's for me. I didn't go to a counter protest outside a drag show so I could be nice to the fascists across the street. I wanted them to know that people fucking hate their dumbasses. I think that that's a powerful tool. Like, if every single person you interact with is like, you're a fucking moron, like, I understand that for a lot of people, negative attention is better than no attention. Like, supposedly that's the reason why guys will just send unsolicited dick pics, because even if they get a disgusted response, that to them is like a better psychological reward than getting zero responses, which is what they have most of the time. But I don't know, like, I don't know what's worse for you psychologically. That's funny. I'm like, which is worse for you psychologically? Being completely ignored or being hurled insults at? Because I'm going to do whichever one is going to hurt you more. Like, that's I was explaining that on Twitter recently. Heem, you know, Heem. I spoke to Heem on his stream once, and I think he's a really nice dude. I like him. I don't necessarily agree with all of his opinions and everything, but I like him pretty well. Like I think that's important for coalition building, is just being like, it's okay that I like you as a person and probably don't agree with you on a lot of political things, but like we're more or less on the same page. I like him. And he posted recently, like, I've always thought it's weird when liberals who supposedly support LGBTQ people use the insult cocksucker. And I was like, first of all, I think that cocksucker has really good, just like it's all of the kinds of consonants that you want in an insult. It's punchy, exactly. Cocksucker, like it's k, and the and the k. That's a fucking really old Dane Cook joke. Any like teenage edgelord Dane Cook fans from back in the day? He's talking about the word fuck and how it's the perfect curse word because you got the f and the and the ka. Anyway, cocksucker has really good sounds to it, but also the additional thing on top of that is that cocksucker is like, I want to insult the person. Like when I insult someone, I don't really want to insult them with something that I think is bad or whatever. Like that person, like I want them to feel bad for something that they think is bad, you know? Like, you know, so if a guy feels like being called a cocksucker is emasculating, then I'm going to call him a cocksucker. And I might call him the F word too. Like, I don't know, just because I think that he would be hurt by it and I have the right to say it. Employee of the Month fan here. I really liked Good Luck Chuck more than Employee of the Month, but I also haven't watched that movie in well over 10 years. What if he's into being emasculated? Oh no. You cockfucker. It's an old George Carlin bit too, from back when he did his 7-word bits. I haven't heard that all the way through before, I don't think. I've heard bits and pieces, but I don't think I've heard the whole thing through. Or at least I don't remember it. I think liberals have a tendency to silo every single individual issue, and get their own, quote, nuanced take, while missing the bad faith in conservative arguments. They completely miss the forest for the trees. Yeah, and Gayfesh also said Heem is eternally lib-brained. He's a nice guy, but those lib-brain takes. We will see how much progress we can make with some of these libs. Because I'm really good. Listen, here's my thing. Once I learn something pretty effectively, I am able to explain it. Like, once I understand something, then I'm able to use my function of language to reduce it down into its simplest parts. So now that I understand, like, anarchism better than I used to, I can explain it in ways that make more sense. Like, I really want to almost like go back and have the same conversation that I had with him, because the conversation that we had was about whether about a trans teenager and whether she should have tried harder to finish high school, basically, when she was being not allowed to go to the bathroom. Like, should she have refused to go to school because she was not allowed to use the bathroom that she wanted to use, or because she was offered, like, I guess she had been offered to use the staff bathroom in the office because it was the only gender neutral bathroom in the school. They wouldn't let her use the girls' bathroom. They were like, you have to use this bathroom in the staff. I kind of wish that we could have that conversation again, because I didn't understand myself enough back then. I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this and that. And now, like, when Heem was talking about, like, well, the state having an interest in kids going to school or whatever, like, now I would be like, why do we think that's okay? Like, why do we think it's okay that a faceless entity has a vested interest in what you do with your life and your time? Like, it's good for society. I'm not arguing that, but why is there a mechanism forcing you to do that? You know, like, I would be much better at having that conversation now, because I just get things differently than I did a few months ago. Except that conversation was not a few months ago. That was a long time ago now. I don't remember when it was like this summer. It was like almost 6 months ago at this point. Jesus. There's a reason it's called murder, not muckduck. People aren't giving liberalism much credit here. Well, yeah, because the problem with liberalism is that liberalism is the doorway to fascism. Like, that's what I've come to understand finally about, like, why is liberalism bad and, like, neoliberalism and all that stuff. It's like because the mechanisms as they are built are inherently vulnerable to fascist predation, and fascists are patient. So they will twist your democratic rules and pull at the margins and find loopholes and test boundaries for decades, and then take power when they see the right moment. And like the liberal framework is uniquely, perhaps not uniquely vulnerable. Well, I think all these different political systems have their own unique ways in which they could fail. So I wouldn't say that liberalism is the only one that is vulnerable to fascism and like the incremental changes toward that, but that it does have its own unique way of tending to slide that direction. Yeah, George Carlin actually had to testify in front of Congress about the 7 words afterwards. Like he was a scientist that had determined the exact 7 words. And then the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Carlin's First Amendment right to free speech. Yes. I wonder, like, now that we have this attempt at pushing like obscenity laws, is it on the channel yet? I can't remember if I put it on the channel yet. No, it's going up on the channel next week. We have a video talking about this guy, Senator Mike Lee, I think it was, who is trying to pass a law like getting porn off the internet because it's an obscene. It's like under these definitions of obscenity, I kind of feel like, you know, like when the conservatives go like, oh, you couldn't make Blazing Saddles today. Like, actually, I don't think you could make the 7 words today. I think that it's the opposite. Like, it's not like, oh, wokeism has gone too far. It's actually like conservative fucking censorship is starting to ramp back up. Liberalism is an ideology that justifies capitalism, and capitalism itself is a bad system. I mean, yeah, that of itself too is the problem. Is like I don't know that liberalism has to be in support of capitalism. It just is currently. Like, I don't know that liberalism as an ideology is built to justify capitalism, but that is what it does. My mom said today that Roe was overturned because Democrats pushed too far for 3rd trimester abortions. She had no idea about the Federalist Society at all. Wow. What do you, like... I hate this victim blaming shit. Did you all see this robot post? Hold on. We're going to talk about the robot for a minute. Where the fuck is my tabs? The robot. $25 an hour. Stop. Where did this fucking post go? Oh my God. Okay, here's the tweet. You asked for a $25 minimum wage. You get first fully automated at McDonald's in Texas. Like, first of all, everybody in the comments points out that this the minimum wage in Texas is $7.25, which is the same as the federal minimum wage. However, the cost of living has risen dramatically and wages have stagnated. Like, so it's like, it's not like, oh, well, you asked for a minimum wage and then you got an automated McDonald's. Like, no. Like, because they don't have a 20, like, that's the thing that they always tell you is going to happen is like, once you get a $15 minimum wage, then they're going to cut your hours or cut your job. But no, they didn't change the minimum wage above the federal minimum of $7.25, and they still And it's also not fully automated. There's obviously people in the back cooking, but the kiosk and the window are no people there. And frankly, good, because of COVID. Like, how is socialism any different? Like, isn't it just a problem with majoritarian democracy? Like, I think, like, majoritarian democracy, I don't think is a great system either, Venusian. Like, I don't think that that's the case, right? Shout out to my internet shitting itself. The wind is killing everybody. But, like, I mean, socialism, like, I mean, we have never had a system that is perfectly socialist, so it's hard to say, like, how exactly it would work, right? You can't just, like, reinvent like, it's really hard to just reinvent an entire way that society works, because all of these systems are kind of built on the ones that came before, right? Capital doesn't exploit, it doesn't deprive, it's the people with land. I mean, the fact of what capital is exploitative. Like, the idea that I mean like capital being consolidated, I guess, is the issue. Because, like, yeah, the problem with, I mean, and, like, there's a difference between the economic aspects of this. I'm still over here. There's a difference between the economic aspects of this and the social aspects of this. Like liberalism and the way that laws are made under liberalism and the tendencies, like elections are not a good way to do things necessarily, because it's a population contest. Like, it's like there's so many things wrong with the way that we do things now in the liberal framework for creating laws, which is a different conversation than switching to talk like Venusian. I want you to recognize what you just did here, because, like, you said, like, wow, people aren't giving liberalism much credit here. And I said, yeah, I have a problem with liberalism because it is inherently vulnerable to fascist takeover. And then you switched to talking about socialism and capital, which is not what we were talking about. Like, we weren't talking about distribution of economic. Yeah, and, like, yeah, those are both conversations that you would have to have if you were rebuilding society. But I did not say that was what made liberalism bad. Or like, I don't know, maybe you were commenting on something that I just missed, or like I guess the concept that liberalism upholds capitalism. Like, but, you know, I was saying, I don't know if that's an inherent aspect of liberalism. Like, I don't think that liberalism inherently means supporting capitalism per se. It's just that we are in a capitalist system, and that is what liberalism does, because liberalism reinforces the status quo. So, like, even if you were in a socialist economy, liberalism would still be somewhat, like, would just be kind of in support of the status quo, because it's liberalism. Like, that, like, that's what I view as being liberalism. Like, we're kind of having two different. The vulnerability is majoritarian democracy, not liberalism. Hey, Venusian, how is the vulnerability majoritarian democracy when we're being gerrymandered all to fuck? We don't have a majoritarian democracy. Like, that's not the weakness that takes you toward fascism. Actually, the mechanisms that we have in this country that make it to where minorities can rule over the majority is the thing that makes us uniquely vulnerable to fascism, is the fact that power can continue to be consolidated into smaller and smaller hands, like, you know, smaller and smaller numbers of people, using, like, gerrymandering, exploiting the various functions that we use to get Supreme Court justices in, like refusing to do your job in confirming Supreme Court justices under a liberal judge, so that next, under a liberal president, so that next, when a conservative president comes in, you get 3 appointees under a conservative presidency. Like, and it's not even just, yeah, like, the liberal framework as it exists. And I don't think majoritarian democracy is the right way to go. Like, I don't think that that's exactly the correct thing to do either, per se. Because yes, the majoritarian democracy means if there is a 54% of people who think that trans people should all die, then we're just going to die based on that. The Bible would be banned if you allowed if we followed the obscenity laws. True. You used to be able to swear on YouTube without it tanking in the algorithm or risking demonetization or age gating. I think that maybe I just am too small of a channel to get to have people say like, "Hey, you fucking cussed or did something." Like, I don't think there's many people to report my content because I do get away with kind of a lot. I curse kind of a lot. Like, my editor was editing out my curse words, and I was like, "You don't have to do that. You can continue to edit out the like slurs, but I'm not too worried about the cuss words." And she was like, "Oh, well, I've been editing for Shark lately, and he's been having a lot of issues with demonetization, so I've been censoring it for that reason." And I was like, "Yeah, I understand. If it's an issue in the future, then we can revisit this. But for now, you don't need to spend the time." I don't know. Like, I don't really know if that hurts me in the algorithm. I always report that I don't have any cursing in the video. Like, that's what I always tell it on the ad friendly thing. SCOTUS right now is anti-democratic. Yeah. Majoritarian democracy has its problems, but if the alternative is power concentrated in only a few hands, no fucking way. It's like, I don't think a majoritarian democracy would be as vulnerable to fascism in the way that this system is vulnerable to fascism. Because a majoritarian democracy, like, if we were a majoritarian democracy, we would have had several liberal presidents in a row. I just don't think there are any problems unique to liberalism when it comes to leading to fascism. I just want to repeat what I said earlier, Venusian. Every single different type of system is going to have unique things that could lead it toward something like fascism. I'm not saying that liberalism is more so than other systems uniquely vulnerable to fascism, just that it has its own unique functions that do make it specifically vulnerable to fascist takeover. Like, very specifically, the current liberal framework. My podcast is listed as for everyone on Apple Podcasts, but I only bleep out fucking cunt. Everything else is just out there. We just don't swear that often on it. I don't even want the fucks to be bleeped. Like, I kind of want my channel to just feel normal, and I feel like it doesn't feel normal if we bleep out the kind of casual cussing that's just part of how I talk. It's just how I talk. I agree. We need to abolish the electoral college for sure. Oh, hey, Hollow. Took a nap with you on in the background. It thinks that really helped with a bad depression episode. It feels better now. I'm glad that you're feeling better. That's awesome. Just having the like familiar voice in the background. I've been doing that a lot lately I just listened to this like same dude talking about Game of Thrones all day long. That's kind of what I'm doing to comfort myself at the moment. There are things within liberal society/economies that should be fixed, but getting rid of liberalism isn't going to reduce the chances of fascism. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't definitively say that we should just like completely get rid of one way of doing things, because again, like, I think all of any potential government system that we have in the future is always going to have something of what we had before, even if it's nothing but us. Like, even if the actual system itself is completely different, like there's no Supreme Court, there's no Congress, we completely fundamentally do things differently, like, we will still have grown up in this society. I recognize that the stream is horking out right now. I apologize. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. I'm like hardwired in and everything. But yeah, I mean, there are things that are clearly not working about this system. And I think it's weird how defensive people get of the current system. Like, I don't know if you recognize that that's how it sort of comes across, Venusian, but it's like, why are you defensive about a political system that is really not serving you at all? Like, I'm one of those rare defenders of consumerism. Why? Like, consumerism meaning what exactly? Because we could mean different things by that. Like, consumerism meaning like that our society is based around buying things, or like, because consumerism, Quantum Cactus says consumerism in the era of climate change is like, I think one of the big problems about consumerism is that it's not really sustainable, like economically, planetary wise, like I don't know, like it's just sort of depends on what you mean by consumerism. It's a liberalism I like in terms of the ideas. So I think that maybe what we would have to do is kind of get on the same page about the actual, like, what we mean when we say liberalism, because that's like a lot of problem in a lot of these political discussions is just not having the same definition for words. Degrowth is the way, if you ask me. I would be interested to see what the world could look like with degrowth. I just don't think that anything is going to be anything like what I would like it to be like before I die. And that sucks. Like, I just feel like politically I'm going to continue saying my entire life that we should have this and we should have that, and then nothing even remotely similar to that is going to happen. And in fact, things are going to continue to get worse. Like, I'm sure in like 3 or 4 years, I will burn out on politics and have to switch to doing something else because nothing is changing. Like, I can kind of tell even now sometimes when I'm trying to prepare my commentary on a segment, and I'm like, what the fuck else can I say about this? Like, it's been all year that we've had increasing genocidal rhetoric and this and that and the other, and like, I just feel like I don't have anything else to say. I'm gonna run out of things to say about this, and it's not gonna take very long because it's basically all the same problems and nothing is going to change. Like, at least that's how it feels. Like, that's what's wrong with the fucking liberal framework, is that for decades we have been begging them to stop killing us, and they won't. They won't. Like, AIDS, like black people getting shot by police, like the carceral system, like extra punitive measures and extra policing on queer POC. Like, it's like death and despair and starvation and suffocation and freezing to death on the sidewalk. Like, that's what the liberal framework has got us so far. Like, I hate degrowth because it's sort of dystopian. The goal should be long-term sustainable growth. I think the idea of perpetual growth is dystopian. Where the fuck are you going to go at a certain point? Like, like permanent inflation forever? Like, prices always going up forever? Like at some point, like, you can't keep earning. You can't keep taking, because at some point there isn't any more to take. The idea that we just won't progress economically at some point is horrifying. Really? The idea of being at economic equilibrium is horrifying to you? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Like, the idea of being at equilibrium is like horrifying. Yeah, I do think, James, that you're right. The more of the population, and perhaps a majority at this point, they're far more supportive of LGBT people than they were when I grew up in the 90s. It's just a small but very loud minority causing the problems. And they've exploited our current governmental framework to take the power away. Do you know what permanently grows? Boar tusks until they grow straight into the boar's brain. Do you know what else permanently grows? Lobsters until they get to a point where they're too big to shed their shell and they die from all the toxins building up inside their shell and in their body. Degrowth doesn't mean stopping development, just stopping growth. We can develop in ways that aren't just building on top of building on top of building. Yeah, so Quantum Cactus, pointing out that, like, it doesn't mean that we're not going to keep developing new things and trying new things or whatever, like, or that, like, humanity is not going to come up with new things. It's just developing. It's like developing sideways instead of up. Lobsters keep growing until they become Jordan Peterson. True. Stagnation is scary. Humanity just stops getting better. Yeah, I think that we have, like, this weird, twisted, like, frankly pretty fucked up, like, correlation between economic growth and, like, human growth and development. Like, what do you really think that the economy needs to keep growing and even being a thing in order for human beings to be better? Like, frankly, I think a lot of the things that make humanity, quote unquote, better are things that exist mostly outside of the economy, like art, you know, like dancing around the maypole with your community members. Like, those things make humanity good. Like giving things away for free, like exchanging gifts. Those things make humanity good and better. And, like, I don't really understand the idea that, like, the constant growth of an economy is a reflection on humanity, as though we've always even had this kind of economy. Like, were we not growing and developing as humanity before we had an economy like this? Like, was humanity not getting better when there wasn't even an economy to be growing? If economic growth does not relate to the prosperity of people, then it's a useless measure. Yeah, I mean, and frankly, the quote economic growth that we have experienced, like, there's been a shit ton of economic growth over the past year. Are you seeing it? I'm not seeing it. I mean, technically, like, I'm making way more money than I did when I first started streaming. Like, I am seeing some amount of economic growth personally, but the prices are still negatively affecting me pretty majorly, you know, like the inflation and shit like that. We've always had an economy. No, we fucking haven't. I'm sorry, but we evolved into humans and we had Neanderthals and fucking cavemen. That's not true. Like, I guess unless your idea of an economy includes, like, giving gifts and supporting each other within a tribe, like, is that an economy? Like, we don't actually have any evidence that there was trade. A gift economy is still an economy. I mean, I guess, like, but I thought that an economy kind of implied trade. Oh, the stream's bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. Okay, that's what's happened. I don't know if that's something that I have any control over. I might have to change it later. Open widget. Okay, well, I mean, I don't really have an ability to control that because my internet is just forking out right now. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, again, it's about, like, define economy. Like, what does economy fucking mean? Okay, so, like, economy could mean the careful management of available resources. So, even heat distribution and fuel economy. You could use the word in that way. The kind of topic that we're having right now is, like, the wealth and resources of a region or country, especially in terms of the production and consumption of goods and services. So I guess, yeah, this is, like, a pretty broad definition. And, like, so do animals have economies? Like, I just want to understand, like, if you're talking, like, Venusian, as you're having this discussion over here, like, do you think that, like, when ants collect food and then bring back those resources and distribute them in certain ways in the colony, like, is that economy? Is economy just any form of exchange of materials? because I think that it could be that broad. Humanity, Baphomet says, humanity doesn't get better because of the economy. Like, I hate to do an Anprim meme, but our lives have gotten worse in innumerable ways since the Industrial Revolution and since capitalism became the global economic system. It's gotten better in a lot of ways, like with global communication and modern medicine, but at the same time, I'm just an animal, and I want to be an animal. I want to be able to talk to my animal friends and contribute to my animal community and do animal drugs and satisfy my monkey brain. Economics isn't going to do that. If anything, economics will hinder that. Right. Yeah, quantum cactus. And economy, if you're going to use that broad of a definition, is way different than, quote, economy in the sense of an economic system like capitalism, socialism, communism. If we're going to have a discussion about the economy, we need to start speaking German. Yeah, Venusian, that's why one of the points that I've repeatedly made in this conversation is in this discussion or whatever is that, like, that's why you have to get on the same page about what words mean. Like in German, like there's a sentence that if you translate it into English, it says like economics, economics, economic, economics, economic, economics, because in German, there are a bunch of different words for different types of economies. And like we use the same word to mean 6 different things, but in German there are 6 different words that actually allow us to differentiate, right? So like, but because we're speaking English and it's a stupid language, we actually do have to clarify. Money has just gotten more and more made up. Like when we measure a billionaire's wealth, there aren't even real dollars there, and dollars already were just a representation of value. If a stock's value drops because a CEO puts out a tweet and people, quote, lose millions of dollars, the millions of dollars were made up in the first place. This is our entire economy. Yeah, Buffalo, 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 Buffalo. Exactly. Yeah, like our economy is already kind of made up on like the idea that this might have value. Excuse me. You could say we have more of an economy as we grow, not because we have more trade, but because we have more things to distribute. Yeah, I guess. Like if you're looking at economy meaning like the wealth and resources of a country or region, and especially looking at the terms of production and consumption of goods and services, like, I mean, that it's like it could apply to literally anything, like literally anything relating to goods and services. You know, economy could technically refer to in your own household. Like, except that it means like, well, I mean, the region. How about the region is my farm? Let's talk about the economics of my 1 acre farm. And the production of the eggs. So many people in the other chat who I can't respond to. Yeah, that's why the website chat is better. Yeah, and the word had. Oh my god. My fortune cookie says the most beautiful adventures are not those we go to seek. I still wish I could seek adventure. Like, I would love to go to a tropical, beautiful place, like at least one time in my life. That would be awesome. I'm actually probably going to get like one of those full face respirators so that I can do airplanes, because that's like the capacity to which I'm going to be able to engage, and then hope that my friends that I see in Seattle are okay with not going inside to eat anywhere. Like visiting Seattle in like April, hoping that it's warm enough to sit outside. Website chat for website chads. True. Scuba suit. True. It's like, yeah, you can get like it's a ceiling full face respirator. Like, I think it would have a mouthpiece on it, but it also does this in a clear shield so that it can protect your eyes. My family won't go along with my tradable chore tokens idea. What a shame. I'll propose it to my housemates when we move in next year. Absolutely. Ugh. I feel like I had some piece of good news that I was going to share earlier that I got distracted from. Let me double check and see if there was one little other snippet of good news. Nope, mostly just bitching and complaining. Just looking at my Twitter to see if I had retweeted something else that was positive. Oh yeah, there was one other small positive thing. This is kind of a low stakes positive thing, which is why it's not going to be a segment on the channel. Good news, you were all with me as I do my estrogen shot right now. How dare you try to inject me with estrogen, you predator. I don't know, like, I was just trying to make jokes. It's not working. I'm tired. New bill in Illinois would legalize multi-gender, multi-occupancy restrooms. Previously, Illinois' Equitable Restroom Act mandated an even gender split in male-to-female restrooms. So this bill would allow people to build multi-gender, multi-occupancy restrooms without breaking the law. Estrogen shot. True. I should start doing squats to make my ass look really good. And then I'll take pictures for Fansly, and you will not be able to deal with how hot my ass is, or whatever. Ass. So, yeah, this is like, it just basically, it used to be illegal to have any multiple, like, all gender, multiple occupancy restrooms. And this is just making it legal to do that. And outlining some of the requirements. So, like, any multiple occupancy restroom may be identified as an all-gender multiple occupancy restroom and designated for its use by a person of any gender. Any all-gender multiple occupancy restroom must include the following: inclusive signage, which is prominently displayed, which does not indicate any specific gender or ability, and that indicates any component that is present in the multiple occupancy restroom that are required under this subsection. So stalls will be equipped with sturdy dividers and unlocking mechanisms. Yes. I think this also said that, like, yeah, so any fully enclosed room designated as serving male or female users and containing more than one toilet stall, at least one sink, and any amount of urinals, including none. So this could also mean that existing multiple occupancy restrooms could just be relabeled. You could just relabel the male and female signs as, like, all gender access urinals and all gender access no urinals, you know? So that's really cool. Good to see some progress being made in Illinois. I do have some family up there. None of them are trans that I know of, but, like, damn, Illinois, you out here, like, doing legal weed and legal gender stuff, like, man. No worries, Venusian. It happens. It certainly happens. I did squats today just because it was too cold to go out for a walk. I also used to do squats, like, no weights, just no weight squats after I would do my testosterone shot to try to, like, get the juice flowing in the muscles, you know? Genders akimbo. True. Dual wielding genders. True. I was going to say I'm a gender bender in the Avatar way before immediately realizing that's an actual term that already exists. Baphomet. Are you a gender bender? Legal weed and legal gender. Exactly. I stick to cardio and lower body. Got to get that femme figure. Right. I need to do yoga. I want to start doing, like, some core work, really. Like, I do want to be kind of, like, toned underneath everything. But I also want to have a nice, fat, juicy ass. So that's the struggle, you know? But if you do the squats, you get, like, a nice, fat, juicy, firm ass, which is also okay. Oh, no, my gender's gone all bendy. Oh, no. Like that feel when, I guess it's like, my gender's... I was going to make a dick joke. Your gender's gone all bendy. Like, meh. I mastered all 4 of them. My doctor's office relabeled their bathrooms, but it's kind of funny because they went from single use to multi-use. 9 out of 10 people use the stall, but there's a urinal in there, so technically it's multi-use. Most of the time you walk in, see the stall is occupied, and do a U-turn. I say put a lock on it and make it a single. Yeah, that's weird to me. Like having a urinal, only one urinal. Like in the Illinois law, it was saying it has to have more than one toilet. Yeah, fully enclosed room designated as serving male or female users and containing more than one toilet stall and at least one sink and any amount of urinals, including none. So, like, I don't know why that is the I don't know why that's the difference, but it is. Holy hell, I'm behind on stream. True. Evening, y'all. What's up, Raven? Why were urinals invented? For convenience, right? Because it's easier to pee standing up, I guess. I have no particular desire to do that. It's one of the higher complication aspects of getting phalloplasty, so I don't want that. Fat, juicy ass and testosterone. True. Flaccid gender. Like, is my gender flaccid or is it rock hard? I'm like, I'm agender, so I don't have one. Oh boy. We're getting close to that 3-hour mark, and I'm still feeling pretty fucked up and tired because I'm not sleeping super well lately. So I'm going to chill now and try to relax over Christmas and stuff. And I will be seeing you on Tuesday, where we will ostensibly be talking about news again. Just regular old news. So be well. If you have to deal with family this weekend, you have all of us behind you, hoping that you manage to get through it safely. Horties are here to cheer you on. If you're going to be lonely this holiday season, maybe pull up some VODs or find some live streams to hang out in this weekend if there are any, and get yourself some company. Hang out in the Discord. Join the Discord if you're not already a member. Go hang out. And be well, be safe, and I'll see you next week.